Hi, Floss Tube. It's Chrissy, finally a farm girl, with Floss Tube episode number 7. And this is my channel about pretty much 95% about cross stitch. Tonight it's 100% about cross stitch. And I welcome you. If you're new, thank you for joining me. And if you have been following for, I don't know, all of the last 6 episodes, thank you so much. The comments that I got last week regarding Iris sews was phenomenal. And I thank each and every one of you who took the time to watch and express how much a stitch or a pattern like that would mean to you. I was excited that there were many of you that had said that this would end up in your stash. So, anytime that you're part of something and others support it, it's exciting, and I really appreciate that. And I know the girls at Twin Peak Primitives that released the pattern and collaborated with me feel the same way. So, the last time I did a YouTube video, it was about a 4-minute special edition video last Saturday. Last Saturday was the very first stitch along for Twin Peak Primitives, the first Thanksgiving. That was released not too long ago, before Expo. So it took, we wanted to give everybody time to get through the Expo and all the craziness, and then my friend Linda, Stitchy Linda on Instagram, and the owner of Brick City Cross Stitch in Ocala, Miss Jean, we all coordinated a stitch along at her shop as like a kickoff, where we had sloppy joes and chips and a cake that had like a fall theme on it. So I shared that in that 4-minute glimpse. I had really hoped to share that the 10 ladies that were able to sign up and join for the stitch along in the shop, they actually had the opportunity to talk to Nerdin and Nursen of Twin Peak Primitives, the twins. We called them through Instagram, their video, and had a nice video chat, and they're a hoot. So it was a lot of fun. Tonight, I felt like I needed a cup of decaf, and I do love my coffee, and this is Mom's mug, so, cheers. I don't know why, I usually don't at night, but for some reason, it's Friday, happy Friday, and it's Mother's Day weekend, and I don't know, I just felt like I needed a little settle down with y'all and have a cup of coffee. Okay, so Saturday was so much fun, and I have never been to a stitch along. I have never been to a retreat. I'm trying to think. I did a hook-in once for rug hooking in Orlando, and I used to, hold on one second, that was my daughter. I used to go to a cross-stitch store that no longer exists down in Palm Beach County, Florida, and a few of you have probably been there. But anyways, we did some classes, Shepherd's Bush classes, but I have never been to a retreat, and I believe that they have one in Jacksonville, and that I would have been very interested, but we have some conflicting family dates. There's a wedding, so I believe that's the weekend of August 19th, or I think I would have liked to have tried that. But anyways, so I have watched, as far as Floss Tube goes, that they had summer school at the attic is full. And if anybody, I guess if you had a dream retreat that you would want to go to, I know that's one of them. So we did the stitch along, and we literally bolted after a good couple hours because I also had my daughter's prom that night. So Randy and Philip went with me, and we did the sal and enjoyed the fellowship of sister stitchers, and then we jumped in the car, drove back, made it in time to enjoy all the festivities of getting your daughter ready for prom. And if you follow me on Instagram, you would see what a beautiful couple that they are, and what a beautiful dress she had. And so that was just exciting there's nothing like young love like that, and to watch two people that really, really truly love and respect each other, and that's what you see in my daughter's name is Carolina, and her boyfriend's name is Caleb. And so anyways, it was very sweet, very, very sweet. Okay, so then after all that was done, it was definitely time to call it a day and do some stitching and things like that. So anyways, the rest of the week kind of seemed to be crazy, but I don't know how to explain it. It just seems to be going really fast lately. So I guess I almost didn't do this because I have progress. I have a lot of stitchy progress, but I don't have a lot of stitchy progress on a bunch of different projects. So I hesitated because I really can only hold up one piece. But I can show you a good size portion of it. So I think what I'll do is go through my haul first, share my work in progress, my WIP, next. There's a lot of hauls, so I think that's a good way to start. I don't know how sometimes I think the mail just ends up where everything lands at your doorstep at once. And then I am going to share a FFO of mine and an FFO for Mother's Day that I am really excited to share with you, and share the story, and we'll close out with that. So let me put my coffee down and focus on you all right now. Okay, so when I went up to Brick City for the stitch along, she has a folder with my name on it, so that's fun. I have a folder, y'all, and anything that there's a actual like Facebook Brick City Stitchers, and that is where Linda shares any new pattern releases she's aware of, and if you want them, you're like, me please, and I did that a few times. So I was excited, and I'll go through the ones that I picked up. The first one is a sampler by With Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais, and it is Caroline Amelia Trowel. And I know this is pretty popular right now, but I actually just think that this is really adorable. And there's one thing that always catches my eye. Check this out. That catches my eye as far as Brenda Gervais and her designs. One, I love that this was an actual reproduction, and she was the schoolgirl was age 10, and it says, "Beauty's blossom that soon fades away, but virtue's a flower that will never decay." Okay, now there's a lot of really cute little motifs in there. This one right here, love her, love the house. But I think one of the things I really enjoy about Brenda Gervais pattern, and I've said this about Twin Peak Primitives many times, is that her patterns are in color, and they are so incredibly, such a pleasure to read. So I would not want to give away any of that. This is the original that she shares. So this one is more of a book, but it's really well done, and I love the fact that there is some research in this. So that's Caroline Amelia Trowel by With Thy Needle and Thread. Okay, the next one I got was, I think a lot of us has jumped up on this, is Happy Birthday America, again by with Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. Now, this one was really nice because it comes with this little piece of fabric. And I think this will be a really fun and not too big of a stitch. So I'm excited about this one. And I watched the ladies at the Attic show this, and actually this piece here. And if you order from them, you actually get this little stand that it sits on. It comes as a kit. It doesn't come separate. You can't just buy the bottom. You have to buy the kit. But oh my goodness, how cute is it? And then this is the little piece that comes with it. And I believe that the ladies at the Attic are including this little piece of trim here, and I believe like a yard. So you might want to check out the kits at the Attic on this, because you would get the base that it sits on. Okay, the next one this is called Red, White, and Bloom. Again, these all kind of came out at the same time, so you can tell. These were more with Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. And again, I love finding little ones for some smalls, because I like the idea of starting to just in between these big samplers, making sure that on a weekend, maybe on a Saturday night, I'm just stitching a little small. So I grabbed that. Okay. Then every now and then when I get a little bit of stitchy money or treat, and I don't know why I have to justify because I don't, but I do consider buying kits a treat. I do consider buying from Country Sampler in Wisconsin. When I make a purchase there, it's a kit, and Brenda and Laura talk about a lot of times that they will get the kit from Country Sampler because they oftentimes have a conversion, or they use maybe a sought after type fabric. So anyways, if I find something that's within reason, again, I stitch primarily on 28 count. So a lot of times these are on a higher thread count. But I have been watching a lot of people stitch this, the Scarlet House Little Deeds Sampler. So I got this from Country Sampler as a kit. And let me just double check it, but the pattern is in black and white. However, the Scarlet House Designs, I think it's Tanya, literally her codes are so easy to read as well. So I love the Scarlet House. Anyways, and then they substitute, and then on the back it tells you what they've included, which is this particular kit they always come really pretty. It came like that. So it wasn't tremendously expensive, but it's just convenient. So I think they've got me using Confederate gray, and it is 36 count. Yeah, 36 count Confederate gray, and they swapped out just 2 colors, it looks like. So anyways, the way they come is so nice. And it's just, sometimes I just think it's nice to pull out something that you don't have to kit up, that you don't have to think about. I've only purchased one other kit from them, and it was the Noel sampler. Because last year, I know Brenda, Brenda's the sampler stitcher. She was going through I'm not sure what I want to stitch. She started it, stopped it, and then ultimately got back to it, and it's a beautiful finish. I mean, absolutely beautiful finish. And she really raved about it, and every time she showed it, it was something that I knew I wanted to add in my stash. But I knew I wanted it to come as a kit so that it would have their conversion. So I have that sitting there ready for me when I'm ready. The other thing I got was, Buy All the Blackbird Souvenirs of Summer. And this was in my folder. And I love everything in it, but I will say the one that I really, really want to stitch is, hold on one second. I love that there's granny squares in this. This is so, oh, you're going to see me really. I, for some reason, have an addiction with these. So I have about 3. And if I am thrifting or antiquing and I can find one that's good and you know it's old, I always grab them and stack them. And I just love that that's what they had in it. But the piece that I would like to stitch is, I pretty much think everybody else wants to stitch this one too, and has, is Summer Jubilee. So. And then I have to just figure out, do I want to try and stitch on some darker fabric? I think it's beautiful the way that it is, so I think it's worth trying to find something that's would work with that. So, anyways, I grabbed that. Okay, now I think that it feels like almost 2 weeks went by, but it didn't. It's just last week I didn't film except the special edition, so I didn't count that as an actual floss tube. So that's why I called this number 7. And excuse me. So I think this feels like 2 weeks worth of haul. But anyways, it was also when Hands Across the Sea, Nicola Parkman, they released their Queen of the May, the 2021 Queen of the May. So this particular time, I went ahead and ordered the PDF download. So this is called Matilda Swallow 1820. I am sure many of you have seen it already. Excuse me. Oh goodness, maybe I shouldn't drink coffee at night. This is live, no edit, just live. Okay, so I don't buy anything that I don't like and don't want to stitch, but I will say that there are some that you just want to be able to collect and have no matter what. So hold on one second here. Whoa. Okay, that is not going to work. Oh gosh, that is crazy. Okay, if I start over, that's 20 minutes of filming and 20 minutes of stitching I don't get back. So how about I just fix y'all up, take a deep breath, and that's life, right? Okay. Queen of the May. Anyways, the verse is, the Lord my pasture shall prepare. And it says, the Lord my pasture shall prepare and feed me with a shepherd's care. His presence shall my wants supply and guard me with a watchful eye. My noonday steps he shall attend and all my midnight hours defend. Okay, I mean, those are beautiful words. It's like Psalm 23 in a sampler in a way. So I noticed that with the other Queen of the Mays, you know, once it's done, they get pretty pricey and they're harder to find. So I felt like it was worth getting it, and it's a big whopper. I mean, it's a big one, but of course her stuff is beautifully done. I printed it on cardstock, and I will try to tape this up because I really don't like to stitch as much like this. But anyways, so it's absolutely gorgeous, and there's this small possibility that if I ever did see it at a store, that I might still like to buy it. And I know that's redundant, but there's something about their books, and especially something special like this that they do once a year, that I still would like to have it for my collection. I thought it was funny. I'm not sure which floss tube I watched where they discussed the fact of cross stitch being two different things. We actually do the work. We actually stitch, but we also collect. And I think when you start thinking about it in that context, a lot of people have collections that just sit on a shelf, and that's okay because it's what you love to do. A lot of people display things. I mean, I have other collections and I collect antiques. People have many things that they will put on a shelf that they collect over the years. What's the difference if we collect patterns? And ultimately, a lot of them get used up and resold. So I think it was an interesting element to discuss stash as more of your collection. And that just kind of felt right to me because I didn't need half of this. But at the same time, I think that there are things in the cross-stitch world that can cross over into two areas. One is the actual act of stitching that brings us so much joy and therapy, and then the other one is the excitement of the collecting. So anyways, I think that it's brings us so much more than just here's a little piece of paper by all means. Okay, so then I had from Twin Peak Primitives, I have their new one. Well, it's not new, sorry, it's older, but it's not that old. It's called Cherry Garden. And it was Pam and Steph's. This was the one that I believe was 20% off, maybe last week. But either way, I fell in love with this. And this is the part that gets me. So I wanted to be able to share that. If I've shared it before, sorry. But it's really so beautiful with the sheep and everything and the shepherds. So I hope you can see. There you go. That's better. So that was that one. Okay. Now, this was one that I had, and I actually had it on my tablet. And I forget that I've had other things just sitting on my tablet that I've never printed before. And I thought I would share this one that I had grabbed from Teresa Kogut. Now, everybody knows Teresa Kogut. I love her floss tubes. She cracks me up only because I just think I love that she's very authentic as well. So she actually has, to me, been a favorite in every aspect, whether it was decor, but back, forever ago, it was all about the fabric, and if I could collect it, I did. Calendars and her bears, and then about 8 years ago, maybe it was, 8 years ago, I actually went back to Michigan and visited my parents where they were, and we went to the Davisburg craft show. Now, I've said before, I'm originally from Michigan, grew up there my whole life, did not come down to Florida till 1992, and lived in a small town of Clarkston. And Davisburg is where my grandparents had an 83-acre farm, which is a lot of where the love for all farm things, all chicken, horse, anything, came from. When my grandparents bought that farm, that meant my sister and I could have a horse. So as soon as that was done and they had moved in, we had riding lessons, and we had a place to have a horse. So anyways, great memories. So when I flew back, the Davisburg Craft Show was there, and we went, and OMG, there was Teresa Kogut sitting in a booth, and I kind of fangirled on her. So I literally bought a piece, which was a print, and I bought a piece, and then I kept walking around inside the building, and I asked my mom, I want her to sign this thing. So she's like, just go back and ask her. And I did. And she did. And then all of a sudden, everything on Facebook got big, Instagram. And so I followed her, and then she followed me. And then all of a sudden she just became normal. She just feels like a friend to so many of us. So anyways, I have this pattern that I really like, which is called Stand Firm. She also has it in a rug hooking pattern, which, ooh, I'd love to do that too. But anyways, the only thing I ever struggle with hers is, wait, it seemed like it got dark. Sometimes I have a hard time with the pattern, and it's just me. It's not her. It's just my eyes. So I am going to take it up to Office Depot and have them blow it up for me, because this one, I just love this. Like, really love this for Patriotic Wall. And then I also I bought these a few months ago. I believe maybe it was Christmas time, but she had them on sale. Everything like 20% off. So I got this one too. And then now she has just gotten into the most phenomenal samplers. And then I thought it was adorable that she admitted when she went to a retreat that she didn't know how to cross stitch. I mean, why is it that I assumed that because she did cross stitch patterns and gorgeous ones, that she didn't cross stitch? I knew she had model stitchers, but that's okay. I mean, when you're popping out, patterns and just so many, you need help with that. But I didn't know she didn't know how to cross stitch, and she's a magnificent at punch needle. So I knew that she had many forms of art that she loved, obviously painting and drawing, and there's just nothing she doesn't touch that isn't beautiful. But I thought it was how awesome that she sat there at a retreat next to Lisa Kindred Stitcher on Instagram. How great was it that she was willing to sit down next to this, very established stitcher and learn, and be willing at our age to learn and try something new and let the whole world know, I do not feel comfortable in this element. I love it, but I don't feel comfortable, and laugh about it. That's what's so great about her. So anyways, I believe she's trying to do a little more each day, but you got this, Teresa. We love you, we support you, and we want you to keep on stitching. So anyways, that was my little fangirl thing. And now we both ended up having granddaughters right around the same time. So she has, I have Aria, and it was Wednesdays with Aria, and then I think she has Thursdays with her granddaughter. So, and then right around the time I have so she's got her second one. So anyways, I just kind of feel like her being from Michigan, and then it just seems like we've been friends for like 8 years. So anyways, check her out, check out the patterns. I know you already do, but I love her. Okay, so then I got on the Laurie Holt thing here, and I had a very hard time trying to decide what I wanted to do. I mentioned last time that I was going to join in with the June flea market flowers. I think the stitch along starts with Fat Quarter Shop on Laurie Holt's new one there. So I bought a project bag from Goose, but it hasn't arrived yet, because what I decided was that because I've only ever had Laurie Holt fabric, and but I've never had her cross stitch patterns, and being more of a primitive stitcher, I was kind of torn, but I really like them. So I ended up grabbing this one right now. I'm waiting on the other one for the flea market flowers, but I've always really liked this one. This is called the Prim and Proper cross stitch. It's by It's So Emma Stitchery. She puts out all Laurie Holt's cross stitch patterns. But these are the ones that get me right there. I can't say that I would want to change colors. Sometimes I think about it, but every time I see it, I like it exactly that way. So I really, really like that. So this is my first Laurie Holt cross stitch pattern. I'm really excited. I ordered the bag from Dot Dot Goose that is using the fabric from the flea market flowers. That pattern will come. And I did buy all the DMC floss for that. I was going to order it from Fat Quarter Shop, but they were out. So Olivia and I, my granddaughter, went and we picked out all the DMC floss for it. And then I grabbed these. They just say that they're called quilty gift tags. Okay, so I figured since maybe I don't have as much Laurie Holt, I'll just have a Laurie Holt bag. So that's why I ordered that Dot Dot Goose bag. That way I could just keep everything together, and I could get she's got tons of stuff. She's just got lots of cute stitchy stuff. So I thought I could grab a little zipper pull and things like that. But these already have holes punched in them. And I thought I could use them for either they're kind of big for floss drops, but if you flip it back, these are in there. And I thought those were just ridiculously cute. So I can hole punch here, depending on how many colors there are. These were just so affordable that I can go ahead, punch hole, it's already there, and I've got my floss drops. And then with these big ones, I haven't opened them yet, but I think I might tie them on some baskets and do a little organization. So whether it's embroidery or anything like that, I usually have things in baskets, and then I can tie. I used to tie with a piece of ribbon, red gingham ribbon, and just write on what it is, and I love that. So these are going to be my new tags. So that was that. Okay, now I had already showed you, I think, a couple of eBay patterns that I found. I think I double purchased. I don't know. I will check it later. And if I did, then I will do a giveaway. So I grabbed Colonial Women, and I think this is the one I duplicated, Little House Needleworks, and I don't know how. I've never done that before. But anyways, Little House Needleworks, Colonial Women, and I really like this one. So that was an eBay find. And then I grabbed this one. This is called Behold the Bee by Chessie and Me. It's not terribly big, but it's just got some simple flowers, and it's still a little sampler in there if you can see it. So I grabbed that one. And then I was so excited that I had a bid on another Brenda Keys, the Sampler Company. So I got to add another one to my collection that I shared with you all maybe about four floss tubes back. It was floss tube number 2 where I showed you my collection. And, oh my gosh, I love these. Never stitched one yet. 911 Stitcher got me going on these, and I love it. So anyways, and I know, I'm trying to think of who was just stitching. Give me one second. I drew a blank. She was literally, I think, stitching 1 over 1, and there's a Brenda Keys one where it's just all these little blocks. Mischievous Stitches. Yes. Mischievous Stitches. Or Stitcher. Oh my gosh. It's beautiful. She does beautiful work. So anyways, you would want to check her out. She has a Sunday stitch. It's Christ. It's gorgeous. Oh my goodness. So anyways, but she's also working on one right now where it's a bunch of blocks, and I think it's 1/1. Oh, you should look at it. So anyways, but I'm excited. This one is called, hold on a second, it's the Husbandry in Honor Sampler. Now, okay, I got this. The verse is a little different, but I like it. It says, "Who lets so fair a house fall to decay, which husbandry in honor might uphold?" Now, I can't say I completely know exactly the message, but I in my mind, I know what the message is to me, and I love the fact that this little family is really cute outside their house. But, my mom and dad had been looking for a new house before they moved down here. And it was literally a month before she had passed. And when they're looking for houses, they always use the words pride and ownership. And when you're on a farm and you just can't seem to keep up sometimes, I mean, you have pride in what you have, but sometimes there's a lot of work that needs to be done. And I love my house, and I love taking care of it, and I love decorating it, and I love stitching for it, and I love making it feel like a home for my kids. And I hope one day they'll look back and everywhere they have lived with us or gone, it will feel like it was home, because of how it felt inside and how it was cared for. And I think that a lot of times it just, that pattern, when I read it, maybe it isn't exactly the typical verse I go for. I think this one seriously talks about that those three words, the pride and ownership that you have in a home, to make it a home and keep it for in those days, maybe for a man to take pride in that, and to keep up the outside, so that you're proud of where you live. And that just, I don't know why, that just clicked in my head when I read it, that my parents had said that when we were searching for the perfect house with the stitching room. And we were very clear, there is no perfect house. You are going to have many things check the list, and maybe not, but you're looking for the one that matches best, but that also the people that have built it or lived in it had pride and ownership, because it always shows. It reflects who you are. So anyways, that's what that meant to me when I saw that. Okay, we are doing good. We are doing really good. I am going to get one sip of coffee. Not choke doing it. I'm so sorry for that. And we're going to move over to my one and only work in progress, which is a whip. And I usually have been showing you, since it's a model stitch, it's a model stitch for Twin Peak Primitives, I usually just show you a little tidbit. However, today, when I sent them an update, they pretty much revealed that entire chunk. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that. And then next time, because obviously the more you stitch, the more you're going to guess the topic here, or the basis of the sampler. So here I am. Let's see if I can help myself a little bit. Oh, there you go. There you go. So if I bring it in a little closer, I did, let's see here, there. This is what I worked on most of during the week. I stitched the dog last night. This one was the weekend, last weekend, when I was doing up there for their stitch along. And this is her dress, which what I do is I will go ahead and fill in these. You can see there, and the white, and I'll have to fill in another one, and then I will just sit one night and just fill in. So she's all, you know, outlined, all ready for me to go, but I still have to do the shawl. But the exciting part was I was giving it some thought. Let me see if I can get this a little better for you. Okay. I was giving it some thought on the dress and the purse. And for the first time, besides when I did shepherd's bush, I did like pulled thread and beads and kits like that, I grabbed some Mill Hill glass seed beads. And I'm going to use them. She has a wedding ring on, this lady, and she has a purse, like a satchel, and she has some flowers in her hair. So she loved the finer things in life. The story of this woman, she absolutely loved the finer things in life, and she was raised in a well-to-do household, and I thought they would be appropriate because typically beads would not be something I would add in more of a primitive type stitch or colonial or historic. I mean, however, I think they fit nicely here. So I'm very excited. I picked some of those up. Anyways, so I will get to share that with you soon. Okay, now my FFO. Hold on, I have to be careful here. My FFO, I did share it on Instagram, and I shared the finish with you not too long ago. This was the Hands Across the Sea Little Gem, the red sampler, and it was the Emily Ann Foster that I stitched with Tina, and she had stitched it for her daughter, Emily. And so, here we go. I shared the picture on Instagram of it in the frame. There you go. Ooh, I gotta go way back. But, oh my gosh, I just absolutely fell in love with this frame. I was so excited. So, this is a real, like it's hunky. It's, see here, there you go. It's very chunky. It's got beautiful detail. I feel like I'm working backwards again, but anyways, I'm in a darker spot this time. So this is what I asked for Mother's Day from my husband, was to not worry about the pricing on the frame, because oh my gosh, I just thought that was so good. It's got a little bit of this brown, and I just think it's beautiful. So this was Hands Across the Sea, and I used Belsois Cranberry. And I really just love it. So that's my second red sampler that I've stitched in not too long, because I did the other one was the Whilst Iris Naps, and it was Piggins, Florence Piggins, and that one like I said, that one I didn't finish. I just left it natural, just sitting out like on a desk, an old primitive desk. But those two are my two first ever red samplers, so I'm really excited. And I've used different threads each time and liked them both. I really like Cranberry, and the other one was Color and Cotton Dracula, and I loved that too. Like, I love the variation in that. So, okay, this gets us to the end of our story today, except one thing, and that is sharing my Mother's Day gift from my oldest daughter, Heather, who you have met on FlossTube, who also does cross-stitching, and she did something really sweet, and she reached out to the twins at Twin Peak Primitives and asked if they could put together a pattern just for me. And they did. And so I knew she was stitching something because we are not good at secrets. She's better at it than I am. But anyways, I knew something was up. So anyways, and it's really, really special because how unique is it that I shared with you Irish sews, I shared with you that journey, I shared with you, that obviously it was something that I was stitching in celebration of my mom, in honor of my mom, however you want to look at it. That's what I had going on in my world. That's what I was working on. At the same time, without me knowing it for a good chunk of it, my daughter was stitching something that she had reached out to the twins like I did and was stitching for me. And so I will show that to you now because she gave it to me early. She wasn't sure what the twins' release time was or how they were going to handle this pattern. And I can tell you that they are going to I can share it with you, but it will not be available until June. So it will be available to you, and I think you're going to love it. I know I do, and I will share it with you now. The name of it is Stitching Generations Together. And I just couldn't be more pleased. This is Lynn, and her and I dyed together. I can tell you for a fact it's 28 count Lugana from Hobby Lobby that we dyed. I think she had it. We had done a huge piece for her to do Sweet Land of Liberty, I think. And so she pulled it from her stash. Let's see if I can get closer. She's a beautiful stitcher. I mean, absolutely has beautiful stitches. And I love this little aqua. Oh my gosh. And it's down in the quilt. And so I have my mom's featherweight. I think she literally almost picked the same frame. It's just a smaller version. So I absolutely love this. I love that this looks like it's basically like, the key to your heart. You've got your stitchy scissors, your spools. I have all my mom's spools. And of course, this is our cat Kiwi, which you've met. Literally being a goofball laying upside down. There you go. I have, we were at an antique shop and I found an old spinning wheel that was in really good shape, needed some good cleanup. And my mom and dad bought it and my dad cleaned it up. It was in working order and it looks just like the Sleeping Beauty spinning wheel. And they ended up gifting it to me for Christmas. So I love that that's in there. Anyways, and so they took it. I said this in a floss tube, and they used those words in the pattern. So I will share with you that I don't know how I feel about Mother's Day this year, and that's not to say that I won't enjoy it or won't be so happy for my daughter and other mothers and things like that. I just know for me, I don't really have a feel for it. The first year without your mom, I don't have a feel. I feel like I just have a numbness kind of, and that's just me being honest. And I'm very thankful that people are so receptive of me being able to share this part of my life, and it's something that I don't break up into different pieces. It comes through in my stitching, and it's how I know I'm trying to heal through this. But I probably would have had a completely different feeling if I hadn't received that from my daughter. I think that really helped it out. I think that really it really captured that entire feeling that I had, that I tried to share last time, and then she turned around and whammied it back. And so she took a very difficult day that I know is around the corner, and it's very close right now, and I think she's turned it into something that I'm able to look at that and smile and know that it's all going to be good. And you know, I think I'm going to take some irises over to my dad's and plant them out back by, he has some wind chimes that were gifted to him that are engraved with my mom's name. And they are just gorgeous. They are phenomenal. So I thought that would be a really pretty place to plant a couple irises. But I'm incredibly grateful for the fact that this is the year that Heather reached out and her heart led her to do that. And this is the year that she stitched away. Because let's just face it, stitching for other people it's wonderful. And when you gift it, it feels great. But dang, when you're stitching, you just fall in love with it, and you're like, I can't give it away. You know, and I've done it for my parents. So I know what that's like. I know how incredibly gracious every stitch is. And it's time that you give of yourself and your heart. And so that really, Heather really knocked it out of the park and took a little piece of hurt, and I think she really just softened the whole thing up for me. So I am very thankful for that, and I'm so excited that if y'all, you know, are excited to buy the pattern, I will be really excited to watch you stitch it. This has been a hard year, but also some of these things just make it. It makes it exciting that there are these beautiful moments in the middle of some of the still crazy chaos. So with that and sharing everything that I have, and I'm so glad to be back where I could sit in a chair and talk to you and, you know, choke and knock things over. But I wanted to take one more second and say Happy Mother's Day to everyone who's a mom, who still has their mom, who has lost their mom. And we all know that is one big group. Happy Mother's Day to my sister. I'm excited to be seeing her soon. It's funny how your relationship changes when you lose a family member. You do get closer. And I wanted everybody just to have a special day. And stitch if you want to stitch, and, you know, sit down around a table and, you know, be with your family. And I think that this leads me into the last little blurb, and I'm cautious with some of this stuff because it's somebody's personal journey. But I did want to take 2 seconds and tell Brenda, Sampler Stitcher, that we love her and that we are sending our prayers. And I did not message her on Instagram, but on their last Floss Tube last Sunday, her and Laura reached out and said that right now Brenda needs our prayers. There's some medical things, and so to all of you prayer warriors, I know for a fact on Instagram, I know absolutely that I have had tremendous prayer warriors that lift me up when either I need it or Philip needs it, or I have a prayer team on Instagram that we have a group that it's literally like 10 of us that we can immediately reach out to people. So if you are one of those prayer warriors out there, it doesn't matter why. God knows why. So if you would feel so inclined to pray for Brenda and that her prayers be answered, that's what we need to do. And that's what we're here for. And so, Brenda, we love you and we're praying for you. And we wish you a happy Mother's Day, and happy Mother's Day to everybody else. I will see you all in a week. Love you.